Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we have another Raw review for the 23rd of June. A pretty loaded show. I feel like they were trying to get Night of Champions started off right this week, and I think they succeeded. We ended up with now 6 matches on that card, which the prediction video should be up as soon as possible. I want to get that up as soon as possible because now that we have all 6 confirmed, it makes it a lot easier. It's always like that last minute, that last Raw, you kind of have to watch because they always add something or change something up, which they did, and we'll go over that. So we start out the show with Seth Rollins, always a good start. He's just this faction works for me. It's really good. Obviously, they need to be a little bit more bite with their teeth. Like they need to show a little bit more bite other than the bark, which is just ironic with Braun Breaker. But they really just need to do something and be a little bit more like disruptive on like the title picture. I know obviously Seth Rollins is doing the thing where he's laying back and he's gonna strike when the moment's right, and I think it's the good call. But you know, we could see some maybe little tease. I kind of want to see him tease it on Gunther, but I feel like Gunther's kind of like that middle champion anyways, and he's trying to avoid Gunther, so when he gets him, it's going to be a lot better. But promo started off great. I put it up in S tier. The faction works. Everything is good there. Then we started off with the first match. It was Penta versus Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker was already in the ring. Um, this was a good match. I feel like I was enjoying it, and I was like, this is a solid B match. Good start to the show. And that nasty spear that he delivers to Penta to end the match just immediately knocked that up to an A. It was a great showing. I do kind of feel bad for Penta. It was like a weird spot for Penta to be taking a clean loss there. Not that Braun Breaker's bad, but it's like if you got the heels and you got all that, there could have been easily like a distraction or a rope, moved or something like that that could maybe just gave Breaker that opening. I think that would have been a little bit better just so Penta would have been a little bit more saved, but it was still a good match, so I'm going to put it up in A. Next up, we had a little bit of a interview with Goldberg. I didn't really care too much for this. I don't think there was anything bad. It's just I'm not really super invested in it. It's retirement, so we'll just put it in C. It's kind of one of those weird things when you say it's your retirement, but it's a title match, and I just think they kind of lost it by doing that. They should have said like, "This is my final match if I lose" or something, and it would have been a little bit better. Next up, I don't know exactly when they talked about that, but Dominic Mysterio is hurt. I'm not sure if it's a work or something. So if anybody knows, make sure you tell me. But they ended up canceling his match with AJ Styles at Night of Champions. I don't know what really was up with that. I kind of hate that it happened. I'm just putting it down in D because it just kind of sucks that it happened. And it sucks that a title match got pulled off of that card that already needed more title matches for being Night of Champions, and half the matches not having a title up for grabs. It's kind of wild. Not that the matches are bad, it's just it shouldn't be that many, especially with SmackDown having 3 title matches. There should be more on Night of Champions than that. But we had the Queen of the Ring finals or semifinals here. We have Jade Cargo versus Roxanne. Jade wins it here. The match itself, I thought, was a little bit less desirable. They both felt a little awkward out there, but they got the job done. I thought it was fairly entertaining. I put it in B. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I feel like it still did the job. I just feel like they both just didn't really have that in-ring chemistry, and it felt a little awkward in certain spots. But it progressed really nicely. Jade made it to the finale. Oscar came out here and laughed at her. So it should be a pretty solid match. I don't think that match is going to be anything crazy, but we'll see who wins it, and they'll be on the prediction video. Next up, we had Gunther come out there and absolutely just destroy Goldberg. He's putting all the work in this feud. I'll put it up in S tier. It did make me slightly more intrigued about the match because he's actually going out there and doing some stuff. Gunther probably cut one of his better promos, so I'll put it up in S tier. Next up, we had Lyra's in this match at the end, but Becky versus Bayley for the Intercontinental Championship. I just instantly saw the Intercontinental title and just thought of Lyra. The match was pretty solid. They had some really good back and forth. Obviously, they've wrestled each other so many times, and being 2 of the 4 horsewomen, there was a lot on the line. And then it kind of sucked because like Lyra came down there and kind of held it back, but then she like basically went after Becky at the very end to cause the DQ, and it just kind of felt like it wasn't warranted. Like if she attacked her earlier, it would have felt a little bit better, but like after that, it seemed like her cool should have been a lot better, but. Overall, I thought the match was pretty good. We knew some type of shenanigans would be coming up because I feel like they're going to do a triple threat for the IC title at Evolution. So if this is the path that we're going to get to it, I don't think it's that bad of a title defense. I put it in B. Next up, I kind of wanted to put this back here just for a few different things. Chad Gable was trying to talk some smack to Penta. Penta laid him out, and we saw Ludwig back there. Now, I saw a lot of people talking about like Ludwig disappeared the same time American El Grande Americano came onto the scene, and that they could possibly just at the last minute swap it up and say it was Ludwig the whole entire time. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. It might be kind of interesting. It doesn't really quite fit. I mean, obviously, we know Chad's been the character the whole time, but I wouldn't mind seeing that being a thing that happens. Especially if we get a Chad Gable versus El Grande Americano match out of it. I think that would be fine. I just thought it was interesting that they were wearing kind of similar clothes and similar styles to kind of show that they have similar physiques. I put it up in A. I don't think the segment itself was anything too crazy, but it was enough that I felt like it was warranted to bring up. Then we also had Sami Zayn talking to Karrion Kross and him going off on him, hitting him in the face, and then they end up setting up a Night of Champions match. I think this is great. Karrion Kross deserves a shot to be out there, and I'm glad that it's a PLE match. Hopefully he could go there, and I hope the wrestling universe rallies behind him and he actually has a really good match. Obviously it also would work really well with Sammy. I'm kind of glad they added this to the card. Obviously it was the last minute thing, but it was the only other match I think available that made sense to put on the card that was hot enough. Next up, we had Io and Asuka talking back there. Absolutely give me this at SummerSlam. I want this so badly. Put it up in S tier. Then we had Raquel, and she went out there, cut a promo about not wanting to be disrespected by Rhea Ripley. Ripley went out there. They had a back and forth where Ripley was about to get the upper hand, and then Roxanne Perez saved her. I think this segment was gold because obviously we're showing where Roxanne's gonna weasel herself in and be part of the tag team champions, which is great because that's a great start to her. Be her first gold in the main roster. All of that is great. The storyline's great. She's slowly infiltrating the Judgment Day, and whenever Liv does come back and Liv going after her could be great, especially if she needs Rhea Ripley's help and they could live for brutality back again or something like that. All of that sounds absolutely cool to sign me up for, so I'm cool with that. Obviously, we also got Raquel versus Rhea at Night of Champions. I'm glad we got a match with having another, women's match on there that has some narrative threads, and I wouldn't be surprised also we could have these two versus Raquel or against Rhea and Nikki Bella at Evolution. So all of this is leading up to some really nice stuff. I think there could be a lot that comes from this segment that is for the future. So I'm putting it up in S tier. Then we had the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso. I think overall, the match obviously has some good build up. They both had some really good moves out there. I think it really tried to highlight both of them. Obviously, Jay looked really good. I thought that was a good sign because obviously he was going to take the L here, so he really needed to do stuff. But they both pulled out each other's like finishers and a bunch of all the stops. It was a great main event. I put it in A. Obviously, I feel like there still was a little bit of issues with some of their moves, but I really don't think I was upset about it. It was a good way to end the show, and I thought the show was a solid A. I know I have some segments lower and stuff like that, but I feel like the Goldberg one it was meant to be in there. Goldberg never was anything crazy on the promos. The Dominic Mysterio thing is just at the bottom because it's disappointing, especially if Dom is actually hurt. I don't know if he is, so if you guys know that, tell me. But yeah, if you guys like this, we do Raw reviews every Tuesday. They come out. Evolve reviews every Thursday and SmackDown reviews every Saturday. I don't know why I completely just butchered that end part, but we do those daily videos also with other tier lists and stuff. And right now, if you've been part of this channel and subscribe, you'll see we've been getting almost 2 videos a day just because of how packed everything is, and I want to make sure we get some good content out there. So if you're enjoying all that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.